Hello and welcome back to Testing Sobriety Mounjaro UK. My name is Claire. I'm 48 years old, 5'4", and I have been taking Mounjaro for actually be coming up to a year. I think I first started taking it end of February, maybe beginning of March. So yeah, 8 months. I don't know. I don't know. I should know these things. Doesn't matter. Today's video is 2 weekly update. So I didn't do one last week for whatever reason. So this is about the last 2 weeks on my Mounjaro maintenance episode. So I'll let you know how I've got on. And yeah, let's start. I've got my notes as always. So both weeks I managed to do 2 swims, so that's okay. That is for me kind of the bare minimum, but there's been weeks when I've only done 1 swim, so it's better than that. So 2 swims per week last 2 weeks, that's fine. The exercise apart from that hasn't been brilliant. I am still trying to build my upper strength by, on most days I do at least 1 pull-up type exercise. I can't quite pull myself up. I can jump up. I just did one earlier and I was able to jump up and lift myself up and down a few times, more than I have been able to before. So I am doing that, but I could definitely do better, but we'll come back to that. My appetite and feeling full on Mounjaro are probably pretty good. So I'm on day 6 at the moment. I took my last injection on Monday the 19th. Today is Sunday. And I took a 2.5 milligram dose. And I'd say it's still working pretty well for me. It's been working really well. We'll come back to that as well. And then prior to that, my last dose was an 8 days difference. So I went 8 days, and I will decide or talk about how I'm deciding what I'm going to be doing dosing schedule wise in a little bit. I do have a holiday booked in February. So at the end of February, myself and Pete are going to Thailand. We're going to Phuket. We've booked a really lovely hotel. All of our holidays up until this point have been short haul. They've been very nice. They've tended to be us hiring a car, quite sort of staying a little bit out of the way, having to drive. And this time around, we definitely didn't want to do that. And we also just wanted to go somewhere a little bit more tropical, something that I've missed over the years. I haven't been sort of long haul for quite a while. And something that I really miss is when you go on holiday and the evenings are really warm as well. Because most of the time when I go away, even before I met Pete, most of my holidays are a little bit out of season. So they're sort of more spring, early summer, or very late summer, early autumn, or even midwinter. And usually sort of Canaries or something like that. Or if more spring time, then it would be something like Greece. But you still end up a little bit chilly in the evenings. And I do remember sort of the times I've gone either more in the summer period or further afield, just being warm all the time. And I really like that. I love to be able to go out in the evening, go out for dinner in a little dress, and that's enough. You're warm enough. And I've missed that. And it's a very silly thing to miss, but I do. So hopefully Thailand, I'm pretty sure, will be pretty warm. So I also have a short break coming up very shortly. I can't remember when it is, but quite soon, like next week or 2. I'm going to go out to see Mummy Does It. Mummy Does It is Mum, and she lives in France. So I'm going to go out for 3 days, and actually I'm going to be talking about knitting in a minute. But my mum's a really great knitter, and I tried to learn from her once. I rage quit about 5 stitches in. I think she did teach me when I was little. I learnt the basics of just like knitting, and then she tried to teach me a few years ago. I really wanted to learn how to knit, and then I felt like I just couldn't get it, so I rage quit. And I've picked it up. I mentioned, I think, in the sort of 2 videos back that I wanted to learn to knit. And I've been making progress. So this time around, there's been some short spurts of rage quitting. Not going to lie about that. There has been short spurts, but I am learning, and I have a friend that knits as well, so I've been able to sit with her, and she taught me through, showed me how to do the purl, because I think I was doing it wrong, and I'm getting there. So I'm going to come back to knitting, but basically I wanted to go out and see Mummy Does It, obviously to see Mummy Does It, but also to get some of her expertise whilst I sort of try and improve my knitting. So it's a little knitting break en français avec Mummy Does It, et Steve, her other half, as well. So that's really nice. So that's coming up very soon. So I needed to think about the timing of my jabs, and that's going to tie in with what I'm going to come out with in a minute. So I think the thumbnail is going to give it away anyway. So I have lost weight, and probably now further, I'm now a lower weight than I really want to be. So I've just dropped below my minimum in the range, but I was thinking that I probably needed to be a little bit heavier anyway. And I've had a good friend who I really trust tell me that she thinks I do need to probably put a few pounds back on. So I have lost weight. We'll get into what that weight is. But with the timing of my jabs, as well as these 2 breaks coming up, the holiday trip is 10 days and the one in France is 3 days, I think. So what I want to do is to not have too much Mounjaro in my system whilst I'm away, so I can really enjoy the food. Plus I'm going to be with other people, and I always want to be able to eat more normally when I'm with other people. I don't really care if I eat little snacks throughout the day at home on my own, and if I can't manage a shitty microwave meal, can't manage all of it, it's no big deal. But if I'm eating in a restaurant, or if I'm eating at Mummy's or whatever, I don't want to have Mounjaro stopping me from eating, especially as I actually do think I want to gain 2 or 3 pounds. So the timing, I'm gonna go every 10 days, very roughly. It might be 9, it might be 11, it's just gonna see how it goes. But the way that works is I'll be doing a jab a few days before I go to France, and I'll be doing a jab a few days before I go to Thailand, and I won't be jabbing in Thailand, so that will end up being essentially about 2 weeks off of Mounjaro. And yeah, there's a risk that I may end up putting on more weight than I want to, especially with it being a holiday where you do tend to want to eat lots of different things. But we aren't all inclusive. That is a killer for me. Over the years, all inclusive is disastrous for weight gain. So we're not all inclusive. We just have breakfast. So hopefully we won't be too gluttonous. But that's my plan anyway, and of course I will share the results of that with you. We'll see how we go, but essentially I've got room to grow, which is great. It's not a place I've really ever been, ever, because when you're young, when I was young, I was probably just normal weight, but I didn't give a shit about my weight because it wasn't something I had to worry about. I'm sure if I'd grown up as a chubby, overweight child, then weight would have been on my mind from a much younger age. Or if I'd been very, very skinny, I might have been worried about that or concerned about that. But I was just a completely normal child. So weight wasn't something that I worried about, thought about in any way, shape or form until I started to become a teenager. And these were things that people talked about, and you started to read magazines and all of that stuff. So I never, and then once I became late teens, that's when I started to gain the weight. So I've never been in a position where I actually thought I could put on a few pounds, like not a lot. Like I don't want to. I'm not mega skinny. My clothes, my size 10 jeans are pretty much all baggy on me. So I am somewhere between. I have size 8 jeans that fit me. I've tried size 8 jeans on that were too tight. So I'm not quite a size 8, but I'm less than a 10 now. So I'm not, mega skinny or anything like that, but I'm skinnier than I think I've ever been since probably I was 12 or something. So, I mean, I love it. You can tell, can't you? I love it. It's a novelty, but it isn't necessary. Like, I was so happy when I first got into a size 12. And, now here we are and my size 10s are baggy. So, I don't think losing the extra weight has increased my happiness level. But it's just a novelty because I haven't been slim since I was a child. So, yeah, there is a novelty aspect. No one really talks about that, I don't think. Not that I've seen. The novelty aspect of it, of suddenly being slim. It's a whole nother topic, so we won't go off topic. Let me know if you are also in that novelty stage, and I wonder at what point it will subside and things start to feel a bit more normal. You feel normal in your body. Right now I feel skinny. I just want to keep saying I'm skinny now. So, and I know it sounds really conceited, but that's the truth. That's just what it is. So that's the holidays and the timing of the injection. And my next section is called I'm skinny now. No, it's not. It's called I'm too skinny now. So yeah, what that means is I'm going to tell you my weight. So last week my weight was 131.8 pounds. So that was fine. That was within my range. This week, I've dropped 3 pounds in 1 week, and I do blame knitting for that. So now my weight is 128.8 pounds, which is 9 stone 2.8, I think. So it might just be a fluctuation, but I think I should probably go up a pound or two and then try and stay about there. But there we are. So why am I too skinny now? Because of knitting. Because where I'm really, really into trying to learn to knit, I've not learned much, but I literally just made a scarf and a coaster. So my first goes at knitting were really rough and scraggedy, dropped stitches, holes in them, didn't know what I was doing. And then I sat with my friend Cheryl, she helped me, and I learned how to cast on correctly because I wasn't doing that right. I learned how to cast off because I followed a tutorial but still managed to stuff one thing up and it all unraveled. So she taught me that as well, taught me how to purl, how to knit and purl, and we did some ribbing. And then I went and found this small coaster pattern. I think it was underneath it was a tutorial on YouTube. I think it's literally one, like, really simple, but I did make 3 before this one and they all went wrong, and this one is not quite right. When you look at it, I think one edge is longer than it should be. Something's not quite right with it. But anyway, this is still really good for me compared to what I had been doing. So that's the coaster. And then I went on, I got some nicer wool. So I got some 75% wool. So 75% natural wool and 25% is acrylic. And I wanted to make a very, very simple scarf. And I'll show you a picture of me wearing the scarf. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I did still make some mistakes in the pattern, but they're not obvious because of the way that the scarf is. You'd have to pull it apart and examine it to see that I might have purled where I should have knitted or something like that. But it's because of the design and the springiness of it, it looks absolutely fine on. So I'm really happy with that. And then now I'm working on trying to make a triangle scarf. My attempt last night was awful and it looked like my very beginning attempts at knitting. I found another tutorial that might be helping me. I think that might help me if I have a go at that later today. So if I have some success, I will show you. I did buy some really nice wool to make the scarf with. It's 100% merino. Actually, did I bring it? No, I didn't bring it. Doesn't matter. A really nice blue and brown combination. They look so good together, but I'm not using that wool until I'm confident I can actually make the garment out of my cheaper wool. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. But the thing is, it's been so... I've just had blinkers onto that I've been sat on the sofa needing a wee and really hungry and still not moving. Like I'm not sitting in my own shitting piss, but I am sitting there like I need a wee, and my stomach's going rah rah rah, feed I I'm just like, yeah, but I just want to finish this row. I'll just do one more row. So I've been very blinkered with the knitting, and really hope that at some point I'll be able to do something a bit more complex. I really want to make my first jumper, because the whole reason I got into knitting is because I love knitwear so much. And this jumper, it's from Suzanne. It's called the Maurice jumper, and it's 100% yak wool. And I've been wanting it for a while, but Suzanne don't make it anymore. And it was on my Vinted sort of, I was looking to try and find one, and then I managed to find this one, and I absolutely love it. So the reason I got into knitting is to try and stop buying jumpers. And I've been good. This is the only thing I've bought since payday. And I did manage to stick to my budget last payday as well, just about, because I made myself return quite a few things. But this month so far, I've only bought this, and it was on my allowed to buy list. So that's good. But now I'm spending money on wool instead, but it's still a lot cheaper than buying Suzanne jumpers or just untold jumpers from Vinted. So there is that. So one other thing I wanted to mention is, whilst I'm going to try and I'm not desperately trying to gain weight, but I definitely don't want to lose any more weight. So I'm going to try, and I don't really need to try and gain weight because the timing schedule, I think, is going to have me gaining weight anyway. But regardless of that, what I really want to do, what's important to me, is to gain a bit of bloody muscle, because if I just put fat on, that's not good. It's not healthy. Fat isn't healthy. And also, it's not going to look good just to gain fat. What I really want to do is, if I'm eating a bit more, then I really want to put a bit more effort into doing some strength training and see if I can just put a little bit of muscle on. So that is my goal. I haven't set myself any specific tasks of I'm going to do this amount of this type of exercise. None of that, because I know what I'm like. I seem to not work well with setting my own rules. So I'm just going to try. I'm going to try and do a bit more of the pull-ups and hopefully do some sit-ups and just be good. I'm going to try and be good, but I'll let you know how I get on. And finally, I said to Pete that I was going to be doing this video, and I might call it I'm Too Skinny Now. And he has created some AI stuff that's quite funny. So I'll just sort of leave you with that now. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.